Welcome to Living in Our 20's. My name is Jessica and I'm the host and founder. In today's episode, we're going to be covering all things weddings, marriages, engagements, and being a wife. So today I'm joined by my two lovely friends who have recently just got married and they're going to be talking about their experiences. So let's get straight into it. Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited for today's conversation. So if you guys could please let us know your name and your age.
So I'm Toby and I'm 30.
I'm Rianne and I'm 29.
Ooh, and guys, you're now wives. How's it going? Wives in private.
Literally.
How do you guys feel? How's it been?
Yeah, good. I feel like a teenage bride.
I mean, it's only been like, what, a couple is it coming up to a year?
For me,
6 months.
6 months,
Yeah.
coming almost a year.
Yeah.
Last year. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
flying by.
Time's
So guys, let's
flying.
start from the very beginning. So, where did you meet your partner and how did you know that they were the right person for you? Start with Rianne.
Okay, yeah, so I met my partner on Hinge. So we met on Hinge, but strangely enough, 2 weeks before we met, someone actually tried to set us up on a blind date.
Okay.
But both of us couldn't make it, so it didn't happen. And then we met on Hinge 2 weeks later, and we went on a date. The date was great, but very randomly, I think I messaged my best friend to be like, "Oh, I went on a date with this guy. It was good, or whatever." I didn't think anything would come of it. I think I told her where we went, and then the next day she went out with her friends, and there was a guy there talking about how he went on a date the day before and how much he enjoyed it and how much he liked the girl. And he started to describe the girl, and she was like, "That sounds like my best friend." Literally. And then they took a picture and sent it to me. I was out with my family at the time, and I was like, "Wait, how do they know each other?" I was like, "Wait, what's going on?" So it turns out that he just happened to be in the same mutual friendship group, but that we've never met before.
What?
So yeah, I went to the gathering, and then after that, I think we spoke to 4 a.m. and then we've just been speaking every day since. So yeah.
We love it.
So
We love
sweet.
it. And how did you know that your partner was the one for you?
There was loads of different moments, I would say, where I was kind of like, "Oh, okay, I think I'm gonna be with this person forever." But I think the very, very first time I kind of had that feeling was when it was his birthday, and I think I had to buy him a gift. And with every other partner, when it's been Valentine's Day or their birthday, and we're not officially together, I've always been like, "Oh, what if I'm not with this person next year?"
Yeah.
But I never had that with him, and I just always have felt very safe with him, never anxious about if he's talking to other people. He was always very sure about me, and so then it made me very sure about him very quickly, and then just because of his kind nature and stuff like that. But yeah,
I love
We
that.
love it.
yeah.
Right, Toby, your turn. Where did you meet your partner and how did you know they were the right one for you?
So we met on Salt, which is a Christian dating app.
Oh.
So dating app. And it's quite funny because I'm from London and I put my, what's that thing called, your radius to just London.
Yeah. You were like,
like I'm not trying to do love across the railway, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to do love inside London, do you see? And he's from the Midlands, East Midlands.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so I set my thing to just London and he set his to just Midlands. So what's the... It was the glitch. There was a glitch and we ended up in each other's area, whatever. And that was it. And then we were talking for a bit and then we said, "Oh yeah, we should meet up." And it was an amazing date. I remember it was freezing when we met. It was... Because also he's not from London. And he booked, what's it called? A crazy golf place that was absolutely frozen.
Oh my god!
It was one of the days where it was really cold and there was a water thing and it was frozen and we were the only people there. But you know, you're just meeting someone. Just meeting someone the first time. You're like, it was shivering. But it was just really sweet. It was a great first date. You know.
That's good.
What was the other question?
And how did you know that your partner was the one for you?
So I think similar to Rianne, I just kind of knew, if everything just felt so as it was meant to be. You know, there wasn't any question in my mind or when I imagined my future, I imagined my future with him. I know it was so cute. But I've never been that kind of babe. I've never been what's my future like with you? I'm always the kind of babe that's like, "Oh god, scary. Let's not think too far ahead." But in my mind I was like, yeah, this is the person I want to be with. And there was such a natural ease of like speaking to family and speaking to friends and family confirming that and be like, oh, you two really suit, and you two like this makes sense. And also just feeling so safe. Like there was no confusion. Like he's so clear. Like when we were dating, like I was never confused to be like, oh, does he really like me? Or does he want to go there? He was very much like, it's you, I like you, and this is what we're doing. I'm like, okay, let's go. Yeah, exactly.
Sweet. So now, girls, dating apps. I know it's the easiest things, but what made you? How was it easy? What made you guys go on dating apps, and how was that experience for you? Like,
so for me, I had been on them before I was saved, so before I was a Christian. So I'd been on, like, you know, back in uni days where everyone was on like Tinder. So I'd been on it back in the day. But I don't know what even made me go on Hinge. Like I don't actually remember why I was like, oh, but I remember it was the start of the year and it was like January, and I was like, this year I'm gonna find my life. I don't even know what made me do it, but I remember downloading it, and I don't think I spoke to many people. And I remember actually when I met Shola, my husband, I had said to him, it's funny, I'm gonna delete the app, so here's my number. And he hadn't been active on the app for a couple of days, so I was just kind of not expecting to ever hear from him again. And then like 2 days later he messaged me, because before that I was just thinking, this is the ghetto. The ghetto. So I was literally like, I'm deleting this app, but here's my number, because he was the only person that I was talking to that I was kind of interested in continuing our conversation. So that's why I gave it to him. But I ciao. the ghetto. Like I've since like uni as well, I've always been on dating apps, because I'm just like, I don't want to date anyone within my circle of friends. I was like, I wanted to date someone outside of my circle of friends, because I feel like, I don't know, for me it was like you see a different side to me as well. So it was intentional, but I've always been on dating apps, but it's always been like the ghetto. Like you're meeting people and you're like, you're a very questionable somebody. You know, like you're very just, I don't know.
Stranger danger.
You know what, you're like, stranger danger. And so my previous relationship, I met them on Hinge. And so then I swore off Hinge. I said, I'm never going on Hinge again. And then I thought, oh, let me give Salt a try, because one of my best friends met her husband on Salt. And then her husband, 2 of his friends met their wives on Salt. So I was like, let me just try Salt. But then when I tried it, I was like, there's a lot of like, just because you say you're Christian literally doesn't mean that you're doing the things of the Lord.
They're looking for a Christian wife. They themselves are not.
It's question mark, you know. And so because of that, when I met my husband, he messaged me, and I'm like, you know, these people are always, all of them are unserious people. So then I messaged him back like a few days later, and then now he tells my friends like, oh, when I messaged her, she was acting too hard, like she wasn't messaging me back, but then now look at her. But man, that's what it was
nice.
like.
Well, I guess there's hope for dating apps and getting married, because that's how you guys found your partner.
Exactly.
It's so true what you say though. Sorry to say. I feel like right when I went on Hinge, it was because everyone was suddenly getting married to the people that they met on Hinge. So I was like, there must be something there. Literally. So that's why I give it a try. But I feel like it happens in groups. Like people find their spouses and then it goes quiet for a bit.
Well, that's good. And how long was it between you dating your partner and getting engaged? So how many years or months did that take?
So we started dating in May, so it was a year. We started dating in May. We met a few months before, and then we got engaged the following June. So so about a year. So
we started dating in like November, but like officially started dating in January, and then we got engaged in July. So it was like
it's very quite short period.
So like 6-7 months.
What made you go like, I'm gonna say yes? Or was it because you guys had those discussions?
It's a long story.
For me, I'd be like, oh my gosh, 1 year, a couple of months.
That was me.
I'm a child.
That was literally me. I was always like, I'm not getting engaged to anybody. It has to be a year. And when I met my husband, he was like, I can get engaged to someone in 3 months. And I was like, I think something's wrong with you. Like fundamentally, I think something's actually wrong with you. And my parents got married exactly 4 months after seeing each other for the first time.
Wow.
And for my whole life, I've always been like, you lot are weird. Like you're weird. Like why would you do that? And they were married for their whole life. Do you know what I mean? But for me, I would never, ever in my life do that. And so when I met my husband, he's like, 3 months. I was like, babes, like, let's slow down, like a year. And he's like, well, I'm going to be the same person in a year. Like, these are my intentions. Like, this is what I want. Like, I want to marry not just anybody. I want to marry you, and I want to start a life with you. And I think for me, I had to think to myself, like, so what am I so nervous about? Yeah. Do you know, like, what is throwing me off? Like, why have I plucked up 12 months randomly? Like, why is it not a year and a half? Why is it not 2 years? Why is it not 3 years, you know? And then, so I said to him, I was like, let's just do 6 months. Let's do 6 months, meet each other in the middle. Yeah. And it was good. And then it got to a point where I was like, it could be any time now, it's fine. And that was it,
Oh, that's so cute. And last on the engagement, did you both know when you were going to get engaged and how they were going to do it?
I didn't know the date. Yeah. I knew it was going to be soon. Yeah. So, because we had had some conversations. So I knew it would be before the end of the year that we got married, that we got engaged. But I didn't know when. So it could have been June, it could have been September, it could have been October. But getting closer to the time, I kind of felt like it might happen soon. Yeah. So I didn't know the exact date and stuff.
And how he was going to do it.
Yeah.
And you were surprised.
Yeah, it's so weird because I told him when we very first started dating, the exact proposal I want, and we never spoke about it again. And then when we got engaged, it was that exact proposal. But I almost, because it was so I forgot I had told him that. So I was thinking, how did he know this? But so it was it was beautiful. But
I knew that. I knew in the sense of the general ballpark, because we'd already spoken about marriage. We'd already said, this is the day, we booked our venue and everything. So I knew that it was coming. But we went on a holiday, because he booked a holiday for my birthday. So we went on holiday, and I would say to my friends, guys, it's gonna happen on holiday. I know it's gonna happen on holiday. Yeah. And then about 2 days into the holiday, I was like, guys, it's just giving vacation. It's not giving proposal. It's not giving proposal. It's giving vacate. Let's forget. Abort. Yeah. And then they happened on the last night of the holiday, and I was like, what? That's crazy. Because my mum completely threw me off the scent, because I was like, Mum, it's happening on this holiday. She goes, how do you know it's happening? Don't you know, in our culture, he has to come and ask me, and to be, your whole family has to be there for the wedding.
Mum was acting.
And she was acting. So I was like, it can't happen on holiday because my whole family has to be there.
A similar thing happened to me, because me and my husband, I thought, okay, he's gonna propose soon, and then the only thing that gave me an inkling that it might be the week that it was because my best friend, who doesn't live in this country, flew in. But she flew in for something different, and so it wasn't. And he was he just capitalized on the fact that she was already going to be there. So I knew that she hadn't booked the flights for the proposal, so that's what kind of was a bit 50-50. But then the week of, I was like, I think he's going to do it this week, so I was trying to order a dress.
No one was trying to be
before I pay for this House of CB dress, I need to do this week. So I was trying to get it out of my best friends. They weren't giving me anything. And then my sister just came and she was like to me, why do they keep thinking you're getting engaged? That's so weird that they think you're going to get. And she completely threw me off. After that, I was like, oh, that's so embarrassing. I've probably been trying to make hints. And my sister's there he's definitely not proposing. She was the main one doing the proposal with him. And the acting was just, it was, I was thinking, I didn't know you could act like this.
Until it matters.
She was like, it's so weird that they keep thinking. I was like, it's weird, isn't it? And I knew that I was the one that asked him, so
but you just get conflicting messages. Meanwhile, my mum was like, make sure you pack nice clothes. My sister was like, make sure you get your nose done again. And I'm like, guys, what's going on? And they're it's your first holiday together. Not knowing. Everybody was in cahoots for months.
Literally.
That's good. That's sweet. That's very sweet.
It was really lovely.
So you're engaged, and then the wedding planning process starts. So Rianne didn't want to think about that. Don't worry, girls. So wedding planning. What was your first thing that you did? So you were engaged, and you're like, okay, let's get started. What was the first? How did you feel, and what was your first sort of steps did you take to make it happen?
So for us, we booked the venue actually before we got engaged. So that's partially how I knew. So similar to you, we basically, I went to my parents. I was like, we're gonna get married next year, or the year after, I think it was. And we were like, so we need to kind of look around. And we didn't think we would find a venue. We were just going to kind of see what kind of budget we would need, kind of how much money we would need to spend. But the first venue we went to, we were both like, We loved it. We just loved, I don't know why, like it wasn't like the most, like it was like a massive banqueting hall or anything like that, but it was just like beautiful. It just felt like us. Yeah, it felt like really nice. And so, because I knew I always, like, spring is my favourite time of year, Easter is my favourite time of year, like I just love that it's like newness and new life. And I've always said, like, I would love to get married like Easter, because it just feels like a new beginning. It's like everything is coming to life again, daffodils are out. I just love that time of year.
It's true.
So because I knew I wanted to get married on Easter weekend, I was like, I need to book this now. I can't wait for this man to get me. I need to book it today. So we actually booked the venue first, and then we also booked the church that we did the ceremony in, and then we didn't book anything again until we got engaged, because I was like, I'm not spending any more money until I see a ring. Until I see a ring. So that's how I knew we'd get engaged by the end of the year, but I just didn't know when it would be, because we'd already like paid the deposit on the venue and stuff like that, and then we did everything else after the proposal.
Wow. That's faith as well.
Literally
put the venue before you actually had the ring. I know it can be quite daunting, I guess, for some people. They feel like, is this gonna work?
And it's so funny because like when we did it, everyone was like, that's so weird to do it that way round, like, and everyone acted like it was a strange thing. And then like the year after, it felt like everybody was doing it. And it was like, why was like everyone thought I was mad when I did that. But then because people realise that the wedding market is always 2 years out, so it's like you realise you can't be waiting. Like you need to, if you make it, so it'll be gone, and then you'll have to wait a whole other year for what you want. Like so
makes sense.
That was the same thing. We booked our venue. So we got married in July. We booked our venue in June, or beginning of June, and then obviously then we got engaged, and then we started looking at the other things, like the catering, this and that. But I went to see the venue with 2 of my friends because I was bored. I didn't even go with my husband. I was like, guys, like this looks cute. Like, should we just like go and see it just for like bands, And so I went to my friends, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, like this is so me. I didn't care about my husband's affair. I was like, this is so me, and this makes sense for me.
That's what matters.
Literally. And then so I got home, and I just said to my mum and my husband, I said, guys, something has to happen, because that's the venue, and that's where we're getting married. And because, like you said, the industry's mad, right? They had already been booked out for the whole 2024, and this was June 2023. Like all their Saturdays were, because we got married on a Monday, and we had to get married in summer, and they had one remaining date in summer. And I said, let's do it. Let's like put that now. And so that's how we did it.
And I guess, and as you said, weddings are expensive. Vendors that you want, you might not always get. So when it came to money, did you guys save up, or was it like, we're doing this by faith and we're just gonna hope for the best? Like, were there any costs you were like, did you stay within budget, or were you like, no, it just got to the point where it was like, I can't even look at my budget anymore? So how was that?
So it's actually good. We didn't know we were going to put down the deposit when we did, so we hadn't saved for anything. Luckily, like, we had money that we just saved in general, so we put that down on the deposit. So like I said, he saved and paid for the ring, and then so then I think when we were first booking stuff, I was paying for a lot of stuff because he just paid for the ring and everything like that. So, and then I think we just kind of like, I don't know what our process was, but it was like we were just both saving like a substantial amount of our like paychecks every month and putting it into a joint account, and we were just paying for things out of that joint account every month. So I don't know. I don't actually know how it happened. We didn't have any savings to really begin with. We just kind of like did it like that, and it all kind of worked out. Luckily, we were very blessed. Like a lot of people blessed us, which honestly to this day I actually can't like make me cry. Literally, just like how giving people were, and how like people just like, oh, I'll cover this, I'll cover that. So we were very, very blessed. But I think a lot of it was just kind of like, we were paying for things as we go. Like I'm very good with like a spreadsheet and numbers, so I predicted how much we would have saved by the time of the wedding. So luckily I had been like, okay, if we pay for everything in these kind of increments, we should be good. So that's kind of how it worked. But to be honest, no, we weren't the kind of people that had like 30k already saved. We did it by faith, and we were like, we'll cut according to our cloth. So if we don't have the money for something, we just won't have it. And we were very much like, getting married is the focal point, and everything else is just a nice to have, but we are going to get married. So whether we have all of, a saxophone player or ballerina on the table, like, I don't know, ice sculpture, that's like neither here nor there. But we were very lucky that people like were like, oh, do you want this at your wedding? Okay, I'll cover that. Like, luckily, so all the extra bits were like, luckily we got blessed with a lot of stuff. We, obviously paid for a lot of stuff ourselves as well, but yeah, it was quite fortunate in that sense. But yeah,
that's so beautiful.
Did you guys? What was your financial process?
So we didn't have any. We didn't save before, like you, because also we got engaged in 6 months.
Didn't even know it was happening.
Didn't even know that was planned. So our wedding was a year after our engagement, and so we were both, like you, putting aside a significant amount of our paychecks each month to pay for the wedding. But thankfully, like my family, my mum also helped us out with a significant sum, because to be honest, I said, honey, if you want, because we're gonna go to court and we'll do this wedding 2 years time and we're gonna be fine. And the babe was like, no. So if you want it to happen like this, you have to be a stakeholder.
No, it's true. Honestly, sometimes you're like, I need investing friends. You friends who can make cakes. Do that.
Like, please, let's bring you on as a stakeholder. And that's how it is. And then a significant sum. Like, when I think back to how much I put aside each month for the wedding,
even now I'm like, I don't know how I did that.
I did that.
And also, like, I could do that.
Literally. It's crazy. I could do that. And I'm like, oh, that money was left my account. It was nice when I was sitting on it. And then the month before, when you have to pay everyone.
Literally, that month before, the 30 days before the wedding, when they start that bing, bing, bing in your inbox.
I'm not as rich as I thought.
Literally.
But the fact is, like, you could not. I don't understand how I saved that much money.
Because also, I think to myself, what was I doing before I was saving for a wedding? Because I could have been saving that money every month.
The amount that we managed to put aside,
literally,
you would not catch me doing that right now.
I can't.
Like, oh, life is so expensive, but I managed to put that much aside. Like, mad.
What would you say was like the most? I guess either the most ridiculous amount you spent. You have to say the amount, but what was the thing that shocked you that cost the most for your wedding? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
When you're like, oh, this is a lot. Didn't think it's a bit ridiculous how much this cost.
The thing that was the most expensive for us was food. But I didn't know. I feel like I knew food would be expensive, so I wasn't that shocked by the price. But it was definitely the most expensive thing. I'm trying to think what was expensive that I didn't expect. I think like photography and videography. I was like, there's a couple of pictures. Literally. I was like, thousands of pounds. Literally, I don't think I knew how much it. Like, I knew it wouldn't be cheap, but like it's like they have a normal everyday price. But when it's as soon as it's a wedding,
it's
like, literally.
Wedding, it shoots everything.
Everything is expensive.
Sometimes I felt like being like, I don't even want to say wedding.
Literally. Hopefully, when they turn up on the day, like,
mad. I also didn't realise food would be that expensive. And also because, like, you know, some people have grown up around doing events. Like, there are some people who go to events all the time and kind of already know the way these things work. I just never knew that food could cost that much. And so when we were getting quotes from caterers that I wanted, I was like, bro, it's nice knowing you, but you're not in my budget. Do you know what I mean? We can't make that work. Photography, because I really wanted this specific type of photography, like, you know, the documentary photography, and I had to sacrifice it because I don't have $3,000 to pay for photography alone, not videography. And like I get it. Do you know what I mean? Like that's an artwork, and that's your work, but.
Not for one.
I can't pay that. And so I was that really shocked me how much photography cost and videography.
There was some things. I think there was one thing that I wanted that as soon as I heard the price, I said immediately. Fireworks. I wanted fireworks at the end, and I was like, oh, it would be so beautiful. But when I heard the price, I said,
forget it.
I can for 30 seconds of fireworks immediately.
Forget about it.
I said, I won't even remember what they look like.
Do you understand?
I can't imagine them.
You know when you want something.
And you know what's so funny as well? I'm so glad we didn't, because it rained a lot on our wedding day, and they would have cancelled it anyway.
You would have paid for it.
Yeah, you would have paid for it.
Did you got any money back to you?
I think you wouldn't get your deposit back because they.
It's crazy.
It's just.
But also because I wouldn't have allocated that money to somewhere else, so I would have been like, oh, I could have used if I knew we were going to cancel it on the day, because also weather dependent, and it was like so much money for 30 seconds. I said no, I'd rather have something that I know is going to be there and I know I'm going to enjoy, and that the weather can't take away from me. But
Oh.
And were you and your partner compatible in the wedding planning process? What was that like?
No.
No?
No.
Why not? Tell me why.
Because we're just different. Like, he's very much a spreadsheet guy, and you know, this is the numbers. And plus, like, I planned like 95% of the wedding. Like that was. I know.
There'll be no wedding without me.
I hate to brag, but you know, maybe I should become a wedding planner. Girl, I like my sanity. I like my sanity. But so he was very much numbers focused, whereas like I'm a very emotional person. So it's like, oh, I feel like this will happen, or like we can make this work in the end, or do you know, let's have faith, and like everything works together for those who trust in the Lord. Do you see? He's like, well, logically, it's not adding up, and so that's why. But you know, it worked out.
It worked out in the end.
Yeah. I feel like we weren't at different points. Like we both kind of like got on, and then there was times where we were just like clashing. But I feel like we both kind of took areas of the wedding to handle. So for example, like at the start, the very, very start, we said what are our like top 3 main priorities like that we wanted to spend our money on and have good. And one of mine was like the food. Like I really wanted to have the food be good. Like, I didn't want anyone to leave my wedding like, oh, the food was I don't know why, but it was really important. And I think for him, his was like the praise and worship. He really wanted that to be good. So we both kind of took areas that we both wanted to like make a priority to be good, and because that was the case, we just both handled everything to do with that. But when it came to like the invoices and like the admin side, I did that because obviously I'm a project manager by like trade, so I was like I can handle that side. Use the skill set. But when it came to like, I didn't find any of the vendors for our wedding, not a single one. He found every single vendor.
So nice.
MC, videographer, photographer, so everything. I just had to kind of say what I wanted and how much money we had, and he would find all the vendors. So and he spoke to all the vendors as well, so I didn't have to speak to anybody.
I could not.
I didn't.
Do we have the same vision?
No, literally. So when it got close to the wedding, we started doing meetings with everyone, but he found a DJ, he found like everything. I didn't do it. Like I think I helped with the venue. No, even my parents, they found the venue, so I actually don't know why I did. I just think I did most of the like how the day's gonna run, the schedule, everything. Logistics was me. Because like he didn't do anything to do with logistics, but it was so funny because the month before the wedding he was like, this wedding planning isn't that bad, and I was there whipping my hair out. I was thinking, why are you not stressed? And I realised it's because I was like holding back some of the stuff because I was just letting him live his best life. So then the month before I started to like give him some more things to like think people to chase up with and stuff to do,
just to shed a load of it. And
then he came back to me the week after like, babe, this thing is hot. Now you know what I'm going through, because I think he did all the vendors, but you kind of find all your vendors at the very start, and then after that, once you book them, it's like the logistical side of things and the decorations and stuff like that. So like even I think it was like 2 months before the wedding, they told us there wasn't going to be enough chairs for the reception. I said,
I don't need this one.
So now you're telling me I have to hire I literally said no. I had to tap him in, and he had to I was like, I will lose my own mind, and I will be there with one strand of hair on the wedding day, and everyone will say, is she okay? So no, we were quite good because we kind of like shifted it. Like it was, to be honest with you, the actual wedding planning was just like stressful, but I feel like that just engagement period, everybody's opinion, it's just a lot. Everybody's saying, but you need to invite my dad's uncle's dog, sisters, brothers, friends. It's like a lot of that stuff that makes it more stressful than the actual like, I don't know, but then it's just But that's I always say the most stressful thing about wedding planning is people management. It's people management.
And money sometimes with afford things. But
like with money, I feel like you can screw your head on and
Also, you can just say we're just not going to do stuff, and then that's the end of the conversation.
But people manage and their feelings and their emotions.
I'm different right now. I also look for something to do.
That's the thing. It's not the only thing in your life. You still got to work. You still got to do.
Do you understand?
Somehow still cook. Literally still date your partner.
Exactly. I still love them at the end of the day.
But I was going to say with that as well. Do you feel like, because we all know with wedding planning, obviously naturally there's conflicts and disagreements. Did you ever feel at any point? Did it get to a point where you were like, I'm questioning if I can go forward with this one now? I never knew this about you and stuff like that. Was there ever moments like that? Or not really?
I feel like I always wanted to marry him, but there was definitely arguments where I just thought we're even doing this for love. Do I even feel the love that we're doing this for? Like it was like, this is so backwards. Like I love you so much that we're planning a wedding together, but I don't love you right now. Literally. So it was just like, it was just so like, there was just definitely moments that was just like, all right, cool, you sit over there, I'm gonna sit over here, we're gonna calm down, we're gonna get this sorted. But I think that's just natural. But I think it is actually funny because you need that, because it helps you in marriage, you know? Like going through that process, you're gonna learn how to communicate with that person, like by force or by fire. From that wedding planning process, you have to learn how they communicate, how they share their feelings, how you share yours, how you both prioritize time and everything. So I think it was testing at times, but like obviously at the end of the day I was like, because I know that even if we took this whole wedding away, I would still marry you in the registry office, so we're gonna make it work. But
you better.
literally
it's so stressful because like I planned 95% of the wedding, but he was like 95% on like where are we gonna live and what's the place gonna look like, etc. So it was a balance, but both of those things are equally as stressful. Very, very stressful. And I remember it got to points, especially the closer the wedding gets, the higher the tension, isn't it? 100%. And then I was just like, not so much of like, do I want to marry you, but more so of like, why are we arguing like this? Like, if we're arguing about this, like, what are we gonna be like when we're married? And like in my dramatic self, I'd be like, God, like, is this what our marriage is gonna be like? And like my husband would be like, calm down, like we're just arguing because this is it, and because he's very logical, like this, we're feeling this way, it's very tense, and whereas I'd be like, oh God, where is me, and what's it gonna be like? But that's it, isn't it? You have to learn how you're communicating under stress, because that is a highly stressful period. The closer you get, you're just, and everybody's trying to put pressure on you, you're gonna crack, and you take it out on the person that you love the most, isn't it? And I always say like, I love you very much, but I don't like you very much right now. You know?
And how was like family? Were family members, I don't know whether mothers or fathers or siblings or even friends, how did you find that people management? Was it like a lot? Did your parents go, okay, this is how, did they have a say in your wedding? And was that quite stressful? Was your parents sort of in agreement with your vision? What was that relationship like in trying to plan a wedding? And please your parents? I
would say I was very lucky with my parents. That's they alleviated stress at every opportunity. They are literally in general the best parents in the world. Like I'm very, very lucky with my parents, but in general, there was nothing when I was stressed about something. They were both, not even just one of them, both of them on solving it with the chair situation. My dad was calling people, my mum was calling people. Like my dad, we had 200 people at the reception. My dad folded all 200 napkins.
Wow!
For all, literally, when I couldn't find my shoes that I wanted, and they sold out, he bought a similar pair, that my shoes that I had on the day, they had like little pearls on them, but I actually found a pair that was like that, but they didn't have my size, so he bought a similar pair and then put the pearls on it individually. He honestly, he built the arch that we got married under. He literally and then my mum, oh my gosh, she was every single like opportunity. She was honestly, she was just amazing with everything. She did my bouquet on the day, she made it, she did, like, honestly, they were both incredible. Like they were, I think a lot of people talk about their parents adding stress to their wedding and like saying you have to invite this people. My parents never said that to me once. They were like invite whoever you feel like you need there to be, like these are the people we'd like for you to invite, but you know, we understand that it's your wedding and stuff like that, and they were very respectful, but because of that I honoured that, you know, if you guys want them here, they're there. Do you know what I'm saying? Because we just have that kind of level of respect, but it's never been forceful, and our relationship is like that in general, and it just extended into the wedding, and I think it was really good. I think with my husband's side, unfortunately his mum has passed away, so it's just his dad, but his dad's amazing. Like his dad is fantastic. His dad was really chilled and kind of like, you know, it's you guys' wedding, you guys have to decide between yourselves. He did give us our own guest list but you know, we accommodated where we could, you know, and we respected him where we could, so like it was quite lucky. If anything, I would say like for us, like we, you know, a lot of people say that a lot of people were very hands-on, and they say sometimes it's overwhelming. I maybe expected more people to be hands-on, not necessarily the immediate family, but just maybe a couple of friends of mine and stuff like that who I thought would maybe like be a bit more weren't. So that wasn't interesting. A lot of people didn't come to the wedding at all who I didn't expect that. So I think I kind of had the opposite of what some people have, if that makes sense. So that was quite an interesting experience. But I'd say in terms of immediate family, I was fine. It was fantastic. Amazing. Yeah, I know it's not a lot of people's story, but mine was,
And Tobi? Whereas I'm Nigerian. I'm Nigerian. Okay, let's get into it. But on the real, my mum was amazing because she, like I said, stakeholder. The wedding would not have been possible without her. And my mum was also like in my corner for like if somebody in Nigeria was not doing what they were meant to do, she's like, let me speak to this person, this is and saved me a lot of like output of energy. But like I said, I am Nigerian. So I said to my mum, I said, babes, you're gonna have 10 guests. That's your capacity. That's the list.
The Nigerian mom. That's how we even
let me add to that. I'm the last child.
Oh, okay.
So I can do this.
How many people did you have at the wedding overall?
150.
Okay, wow.
That's even amazing to be honest.
No, but the venue can't seat more than 160 people. So see if you like 300 people, they're gonna be standing outside. What's it concern me? Check it. I said, as for me, 150 people was what I knew, and in the end it was 150, like just under 160 anyway. But she then obviously did not have 10 guests. My mum one day called me into the room like, Tobi, please, I have to beg you, please. I'm thinking like, what's going on? Like, is something happening? Like, something serious? You know what I mean? This person called me and they said to me that your daughter is getting married.
So what's my business?
Mom said, she said, please, I want to beg you, please, let them come to the wedding. I said, Mom, like, I've given you 10 guests. In the end, she had like 20-30 people there.
Oh, wow.
After 155, she took, like, Mom called me, she's like, oh, did you know that? Because I have a quite big family in Nigeria. My dad's passed away, like your husband's parent. So, did you know that your cousin is actually arriving in this country? First of all, what's her name?
The amount of cousins that people used to
First of all, who are they? Like, do they know me? Like, do they? And so, because of wedding now I should add them to the list.
That I'll never see them again.
And that was the stress. And also, like, there was just things that, because I was very happy just doing a Yoruba traditional wedding.
So you weren't going to do the white wedding?
I was going to go to the court and then do a traditional bish bash bosh, like, let's call it a day. Mom said, in this household, we do a white wedding in this household. As in, so I just had to let her have it. Do you know what I mean? I had to let her have it. And that was the stress, because for me, I was like, I'm not trying to have 2 weddings on 2 different days, because I can't afford that. I can't do that. And I'm like, because we're both Yoruba, me and my husband, I'm very happy just doing a Yoruba wedding and wearing a white dress to the court. It's like, simple, we're fine. But she said, absolutely not. And then that was the added stress, like, how do we then combine that,
my vision, and make it work.
And then also I got married on a farm.
Yes. I
got married on a farm, guys.
She was like, what are you doing?
My mom said to me, how can you get married where there's animals? First of all, there weren't any animals on the farm. But she just couldn't wrap her mind around it. She's like, it's a farm. She's like, I'm gonna bring my people to a farm. And I'm like, yeah, mom, it's gonna be nice. Anyway, the wedding comes and goes. The next day, what did she put on her Facebook? Beautiful farm wedding. So unique. After she gave me stress for a year about how she's like, how am I going to bring my people here? She goes, everybody's talking about the wedding. They've never seen something like it before.
Mommy got her.
So just a bit of like, I think cultural differences between myself and my mum.
Rather than you and your partner. And are you both the same tribe as well? Okay, so a bit more easy. That's good. Right, invitations. So, how was it trying to invite people to your wedding? Were there any, I thought I was coming, why didn't I get an invite sort of case? And how did you deal with that? Rianne's like,
I had it less on my side.
Nigerians, man.
I think people know me. And I don't have time for that. If you're not invited, I don't think people would even think to approach me, because I'm a very direct person. So I will tell you directly, like, when have you last called me? When have you checked in on me?
It's true.
I think people will know themselves before they come to me. Do you know what I'm saying? So, because I think I just give off that vibe. But I think for me, everyone I invited, I thought intricately about. Like, genuinely. There was not a single person. Even if you were someone's partner, like, not everybody's partners got invited.
Fair.
If your partner was coming, it's because I really, like, like even the partners of my husband's friends, not all of their partners came, and I said to him, okay, so this one, I like this wife, bring this bring this wife, she doesn't, do you know what I'm saying?
Like even wife and husbands you didn't allow as well.
I think mostly married people we did, but it was like more boyfriends and girlfriends. Boyfriends and girlfriends. How long have you been together?
That one,
but we really like tried our best, but with my side not so much. I had like a little bit of a wait list, and what I did is I did my invitation staggered, so I went out to family first, let them come back to me, then went out to like friends, so that when people said, oh, I'm on holiday, because it was Easter weekend, so because some people were, kids are on holiday, we're going to Cyprus or whatever, I wasn't sending out all the invites yet, so I was doing it in staggered so that I would know, okay, we actually have more spaces, so I can invite this person's partner, so that way I kind of like was able to like mitigate people seeing that their friends were invited and they weren't invited, sort of thing. So I think the only thing I had it with was my previous church. I didn't invite everyone, so I think there was some people that may have expected to, but no one came up to me, so they probably spoke to my best friend about it, they didn't speak to me about it. So literally, so I was quite lucky in that sense that I didn't really have that as much. But
Toby,
it's a bit harder, I think, with Nigerians. It's just Nigerians in general, because Nigerians love an occasion. Like a wedding, like you're there. Do you see everybody and their grandma? Like when I tell you somebody called and text me saying, "Oh, you didn't invite me to your wedding." Bearing in mind, I haven't spoken to this person in 10 years. Bearing in mind that my mum's age.
Wow.
So why are you texting me? A 29-year-old babe. You're texting me, a 60-year-old woman, and you say you're upset that I didn't invite you. There's a bit of an imbalance of power here. Do you know? But it is. People were upset. And I'm like, okay, first of all, the farm, the ceremony room could only hold 160 people. And the reception room could hold like 210, I think. Okay, cool. But we already said I'm not paying for all of you unless you want to pay for your food.
Please,
we're not coming.
Like, can I charge people?
Yeah, exactly. And also some people I'm like, I don't want you to come. And I'm okay with that. And also I'm a little bit stubborn. If I don't want you to come to something, you're not coming. Like my wedding's not a motive. Like it's not, because we don't, when was the last time you spoke to me? Like, and some people were upset, like as in my age group of people. Some people were speaking to other friends like, oh, Toby didn't invite us to her wedding, like that's like if we don't speak to her now, but me, I'm like, what's it concern me? You didn't speak to me before, you didn't speak to me after.
I wanted to come and show up.
Do you understand? And for me it's like we're very intentional about the people that we invite to the wedding, and we staggered it, so we invited the people that wanted to come, but then some people naturally, it's the summer, some people can't make it and will be able to be there, so then we extended the invites to some partners of people. But then when a few people asked me, can my boyfriend or my girlfriend come? And I'm like, unfortunately they can't. I'm sorry, like respectfully, like they're your boyfriend and girlfriend. Like today they're not together with them. They were like girlfriend.
That's the thing.
Or
gets
like
upset when you say things.
Exactly.
Like
and someone very specifically with his girlfriend, he's not together with his girlfriend, and he was getting really upset with me that I didn't want to invite his girlfriend to the wedding.
Was it your brother? Did you say?
No, someone. Just bro, that's different. That would be so different. But someone's girlfriend. I'm like, I'm not gonna invite your girlfriend. I don't know her. As well as like I don't know her.
It's then they become your friends.
I'm like, and I know you, and then last they're not together anymore, and no one speaks to that person, so then I should have had them at my wedding.
Instead of someone else.
I paid for their meal.
No thank you.
No thank you.
And how did you guys sort of deal with, how did you choose bridesmaids? How was that process with your bridesmaids supportive, and what advice would you give to other brides in choosing bridesmaids as well? So,
I actually picked my bridesmaids before I even met my husband.
Really?
So in my head, I always knew. I only had 5, and they are the 5 people that are closest to me. They're the 5 people I talk to a lot. But it's not even just in terms of frequency, but I feel like that see me and know me very well. So like, just to quickly say, it was my sister, who's my like best friend, but like my sister, my cousin, who's also like my sister, but like my cousin, and my 2 best friends, one of them that, like I said, lives in another country, one of them that lives here, and then a really, really close friend of mine who I've known for years and years and years. And I had picked them based on the fact that I was really close and I felt like they knew me very well, but also that they all had different skill sets. There were some friends who I've had longer, who I did debate pulling them into the bridal party, but I just also knew that they would be okay not being in it, and it would just be like one less thing I had to worry about, because like, for example, I have 2 very, very close friends who have been friends for like 17 years who I met like from literally first day of secondary school, who I could have had in the bridal party, and they're my really close friends. I speak to them every single day, but I chose not to, not because they wouldn't have been amazing bridesmaids, but just because I wanted to keep the number as small as possible to just mitigate anything that could even happen. And I didn't have any drama, and the thing is, they both showed up to everything. They showed up to my bridal shower, my hen do, they helped out with anything they could on the wedding prep on the day. They gave me their opinions on things. They were still very both supportive, but they knew, it's not because I don't love them or don't want them to be, it's just because of like they both knew and you know, we're all really close now. Like, it hasn't affected any relationships. And I could have easily had them in, but I just felt like it made sense not to, and luckily they were fine with it, and it all worked out well. And honestly, I had no issues with my bridesmaids. They all talked about
that's really smart,
especially
that's really sometimes whether it's big or small, but most times when it is bigger, there's
like more chance of that. It's not even like, it's just it's a matter of like just like statistics. Like, as soon as you add more people, there's more chances of there being problems. Honestly. And in reality, everyone that I had as my bridesmaids, luckily they all know each other already, so it wasn't like one friend from here, and then now they're having to work together on this project. Like, two of them, all three of us were in church together, so you know, and then my sister's my sister, so everyone knew that, and she's very close to my cousin, so everybody kind of slotted in, if that makes sense, and knew each other, and we all talk in the group chat now still. So it's it's really, really lovely, to be honest with you.
Beautiful. And Toby, what about you? How were your bridesmaids?
They were amazing.
That process,
I had 8 bridesmaids.
Okay, good, nice.
I know, so initially I wanted 10 bridesmaids, and then I realised, and then I realised, nothing to do with drama. Actually, I just I didn't want 10 bridesmaids. It was nice in my vision, and it was like my husband. It didn't have to, but I wanted a bit of symmetry with my husband. And he had 7 groomsmen, 1 dropped out, so he initially had 8. Now then he had 7, and I had 8 bridesmaids. And he's like, I don't want to have 10 groomsmen. And then so what I did is that I had 8 bridesmaids, but then I had 11 Ashoebi girls for the Yoruba traditional. But they were great. Like, I knew they were going to be my bridesmaids before I got engaged, because each of those bridesmaids, I know them very, very well, properly, very well. And there was 0 drama. And I tell people this, and they're like, how's that possible? You had 8. And when I tell you, there's not even an exaggeration. 0 drama from my bridesmaids. Like, even I remember once when I went to do wedding dress shopping, and I didn't realise I had to take the dress away, because I was like, let me just try dresses on, and I liked the dress, and then I was thinking, okay, I don't have the money to pay for it right now, I was just coming to try dresses on, and one of my bridesmaids like, okay, I'll put down a deposit for you.
Wow, come and see. This is the kind of
do you understand? Like, my bridesmaids, some of them aren't even Christian, like 1, 2 aren't Christian, all pull together and say, let's pray every Saturday morning and lead up to the wedding.
That's what you need.
Literally, on my cousin, she's not like, you know, she's not saved or anything like that, but we did a fast for the wedding, and I just thought, okay, everyone who's a Christian will just do the fast. If you're not, obviously don't participate. And then, like, it was a few days before the wedding, she was like, we were just talking, she's like, that fast was really hard. And all of us were like, why would you do that? She was like, well, I was gonna just leave you guys to do it. But it was just such a beautiful thing that, like, she fully gave, like, you know, well, she's not even like a Christian, but she was just like, no, I wanted to participate. And I was like, look at God, man, it's just such a blessing.
It's honestly amazing. And so so I had like my childhood friend, my sister, and just like friends that
you can trust.
Who also walked with me before I entered this relationship with my husband, and through the relationship, who've been praying for the wedding, like before we'd even got engaged. You know what I mean? So like, I knew that those were going to be the girls.
And were any of your bridesmaids married, or were you like the first? And do you feel like that might have helped in them being quite reliable, maybe?
I had 2 married, 3 unmarried. So
you weren't like, you didn't feel alone. Well, you might have, but I don't know.
Some were married. So the wedding I went to the year before mine, I was a bridesmaid at her wedding, and she was a bridesmaid at mine. So she was really sweet. And then like some 3 were married, and the rest were
Alright, fair. And guys, so the day of your wedding, how did it feel walking down the aisle?
Oh my gosh.
What was that experience like?
Like, I think right before I got down the aisle, I was very anxious, but not about walking down. I think I was just anxious because things were running behind time, the weather and the car, and we couldn't find parking to get into the church. It was like so stressful. And then I had a minute where I had to like I had to stop and be like, I'm actually about to walk down the aisle on my wedding day. Like, I can't think about logistics. Like, because up until that point, everything had been like, the bridesmaids ready. Have we done our robe shoot? Because in my head, I was just thinking, like, logistics. And I realised that I have to be in this moment because it's actually my wedding. So I had, like, literally 2 seconds where they were fluffing my dress and I had to be like, whoa, I need to get in the moment and forget about everything else and just try and enjoy it. And I was always very apprehensive. I always said that was a bit of the wedding that I was looking forward to the least, because it's just so much attention, and I just was like, it makes my skin crawl. So I was very anxious about that. But then in the moment, I was like, oh, I get to be with my dad. And it just weird, like, just having my dad just made me so instantly calm. And then, yeah, I don't know, it blurs out. But I just kind of remember just, like, being able to, like, see everyone's faces. And I always thought that everyone would be a blur. But I actually remember every single face I saw. And I was just smiling at people. I remember seeing you. Literally. It's so weird, because I remember seeing you at my wedding. And I also remember watching you walk down the aisle as well. So, yeah, I got to see you. I remember you smiling. And then right at the end, I don't know what I was looking at, and then suddenly I saw Shola, and instantly, like, I started to cry, and I didn't expect me to cry, so I expected him to cry. So when I started crying, I was like, wait, this is the one. I don't know what about seeing him, but it just like all hit me at once. Like, oh my gosh, I'm about to marry him. But yeah, so yeah, that's what I felt. Yeah, but yeah.
And Tobi, what about you walking down the aisle?
It was beautiful. Like, it was I think my favourite part of the whole day, because it was so chill, and I had a great wedding coordinator. Like, shout out to her, everything. Like, you see, at the morning of the wedding, I felt like I was with the fairies. I was like, like, I'm getting married, like, everything's amazing. I'm sure things were going, but as for me, I was like, somebody's gonna be getting married, and that person is me, you know. And so it was quite. I didn't realize how short the aisle was, by the way. So it was a bit anticlimactic. I was like, and I'm here. But as soon as the music started playing, and then I was walking down the aisle with my nephew, and I saw my husband, and like, I didn't cry. I thought I was gonna cry, and I didn't cry because I was very much like, God, it's happening, you know. And then my husband started crying, and I was like, oh my God, this is the cutest thing in the world. What is going on? And then I think there's a video of me going like, just like, and they get there, and it's just like, oh my God, it was just, I think the music, the people, and just like, this is our wedding, you know, it's like, it's happening, and it was so beautiful, honestly.
I'm happy for you. And finally on the wedding, were there any vendors that you were like, oh my goodness, this was a headache, I did not expect them to do this or whatever? Don't need to say they are, but any aspect of your wedding that, or didn't go to plan, I'd say, they didn't have to be a headache.
Yeah, there were. I didn't get to do my dance with my dad, and I didn't get to do my bouquet toss. But that was not particularly anyone's fault. I think that was a miscommunication of like me saying later, and then, you know, it being misinterpreted as like not right now.
Yeah.
Not at all. But I think I don't even know what the conversation. I don't even remember. On your wedding day, there's so many people talking to you, and I think I was just like, oh yeah, no, like, as in not like right now, and I need to like do and they heard it as, okay, cool, it's not gonna happen, kind of thing. And then the night was going, and I was like, oh, this thing hasn't happened, and I just realised, okay, just leave it. But yeah, there was that. There was other little things, but nothing. Yeah, it was still
That's good. Tobi?
Do you know what? All our vendors were amazing.
That's good.
And we prayed for our vendors every single Saturday for I think about 6 weeks. Everything. And do you know, God is so good, because our caterers, right, didn't have, they were like, we're not going to take away the bins, because we're not I don't know if it was the licensing or something. They were like, we're not doing the bins, like, and the venue don't, because of their whole like sustainability, they don't have the license to do anything with the bins. And this is a week before the wedding, and so the coordinator's calling me, and I'm like, what am I meant to do? Like, it's the bins. Like, what's going? We can't have the bins just lying around from 150 guests and their food. Anyway, at the end of it, because then we said, okay, we'll hire somebody to put the rubbish away, and then the groomsmen will drive it to the skip, and you know, we'll just make do, because I'm not about to fork out £400 for the bin collectors, you know.
No way.
And then the day of the wedding, at the end, me and my husband are walking away, and he was like, oh, the groomsmen don't know where the bins went, and I was like, what's going on? And then the venue, because we went there the next morning, the venue team were like, we don't know where the bins went, and so we think they took the bins anyway, but just like, it was just every single vendor was just on job. Like, there was no stress about it, and I just genuinely believe it's because we prayed. Prayed, and I said, God, I said, God, I beg you. Do you see what I mean? Like, please. And honestly, everybody was amazing, and I would recommend all of them, like, without even thinking.
Well, that's I'm glad to hear that. Well, it sounds like you guys have an amazing wedding. I'm happy for you both as well.
Thank you.
So now that you had your wedding, you were engaged, we're now married. So it's been a year and a couple of, I think 6 months.
6 months,
almost a year for you, Rianne. So guys, wedding, marriage.
Yes.
How is marriage? Wait, actually, you know how people say that marriage is hard, and people are like, it's challenging. The first is like the worst. Would you agree with those statements, or do you feel like those statements sort of exaggerate the hardship of it?
For me, I haven't found it yet as hard as people said it would be.
Yeah.
It's weird. I found all the things that I thought would be easy hard, and the hard things easy. I thought like living together was gonna like be hell. I honestly thought he's gonna not want to do this and not want to do that and not cook, and I'm gonna have to do everything, and I'm gonna be a slave in the kitchen, and he literally does everything he needs to do. Obviously, like anything, like sometimes he leaves a sock here and there, whatever. But like generally speaking, that has been quite smooth. Like living together in that sense, in terms of like, we could all be cleaner and little things, but it's not got to be as much as I thought it would. It's weird. It's like the thing that's actually been hard is like the making you still feel like you're dating. It's like you get to the roommate phase quicker than I thought you would. I thought we'd have this like, I don't know, like rose tinted honeymoon, all over each other thing forever. But you kind of just they kind of become family quite quickly. Like they like you kind of like, you're right, housework, you're right. Like, do you know what I mean? It just becomes very like
natural.
And keeping it like fresh and exciting and like giddy and like date. Like even today, having to come down here and drive and talk in the car, it was like, what's that boyfriend and girlfriend again, like, you know, because sometimes you just become like, they become like, you look like your sibling in that way, but you know how when you live with your siblings, you kind of, they go about their day, you go about yours, and you're like, how's your day? It becomes quite samey, and I feel like I didn't expect that to happen so quickly, and it's not a bad thing, because I could be saying, well, they're fighting every day, and we're not, like, so it's a blessing in the sense that like we kind of like have meshed, but trying to keep it like exciting and like dating
with each other every day. So it must be hard to be like, okay, I don't know, are you able to still, well, it sounds like you are quite conscious of keeping it alive. You guys are dating.
We have date nights. We do it every week. Every Monday, we do not make plans on Mondays. Our Mondays are our nights together. We do not like sacrifice Mondays. We always try and do it like, even if it's like at home date night, or if it's going Costco together and just like messing around. I'm going like, Costco is the elite, and the elite date night. Costco and IKEA. Those date nights. Glorious. Let me start going to Costco. That is a date night. It's supreme. But having that has been good. And then obviously like still trying to go to like the cinema, or like let's go for a walk and stuff like that. But I think like just not like, just feeling like, because when you're dating, you have that time where you can call each other in the night and like you have each other's full attention. Whereas when you're married, you come home and then one of you's cooking, the other one's taking a shower, he's going to go play football, I'm going to go to my fitness class, and like we just like are existing and just trying to make sure that we're both like, let's stop and actually like connect. That's been like not harder, but like I just didn't expect it to like get to that place so quickly. I didn't know you have to be so intentional as you do, but that
sounds good. Toby, going back to it being would you feel like your first year of marriage, do you feel like you kind of resonate or maybe not resonate with that thing of, marriage is hard, the first year's horrible, it's terrible?
I don't. Do you know what? I don't.
I mean, people be saying that.
No, but I agree.
That's might be for you.
I agree. And like, I don't agree with that actually. And I think like you, it's just, I don't know. It's not, you know, people say first year marriage is so hard. Like you're gonna be working away. Like this person's gonna be doing this, and you just have to learn. And then you start to think to yourself, am I not? Is it coming? Like, we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Do you see what I mean? But I think for us, it's more of like our communication styles. And I think what really helped with that is having premarital counselling. Like I could not. That's so true. I could not. I feel like if we didn't have premarital counselling, I think it would be hard actually, because then we wouldn't know how to communicate with each other. Because it's so interesting, because we know our communication style, like by the nature of dating and etc. Like we are already just aware of how we communicate. But when we went through premarital counselling and someone puts a name to it and says, oh, actually no, you're more like this and you're more like this and this is why, and they see things this way, and you're like, oh, okay, I understand. And so when you're having, doesn't mean that you wouldn't have arguments, because it's inevitable. So then when we're arguing, I'm just like, oh, okay, you see it from this way, but can you see why I see it from this way? And that doesn't mean that you're going to feel better about it, but can you see my perspective? Can I see your perspective, you know, and make that work? And I think that's been really, really helpful.
Good,
and also, like, we really try not to go to bed angry. Easier said than done. Let's be real. Let's be real. So easier, but we try our best. Him more so than me, to be fair. Let me give him credit, because I'm like, anyway. I'm upset, you know. But it's easier said than done. But that has been very helpful. Of like, don't go to bed angry. Speak about it. Hash everything out. And I think that's what's made it not as difficult. The premarital counselling, game changer. I think. Yeah.
And was there anything that you found shocking when you got married? Like something, it doesn't like anything that you didn't expect. Whether that's how you were as a person when you got married. If there's like a routine or task that you were like, oh, okay, I wasn't aware of this, or I'm shocked I act like this in this married section of my life, if that makes sense.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I'm definitely, my husband is very chill, and so living with him is very easy, because like, he doesn't, like,
love it.
Yeah, like much doesn't bother him. Do you see what I mean? Whereas I'm very intense as a person, like, and this needs to be done and that needs to be done, and so I didn't realise that actually until we lived together. Do you see what I mean? Because for me, I always thought like, oh, I'm so easy to live with, like what? You know, it's me. And then entering that, I was really shocked when I reflected upon that. But also, actually, that, you know, you get married and your husband becomes your family. Like that's your first,
family,
that's your immediate family. Do you know, like you've grown up, your family, like your parents, and then that's been the most shocking thing of having to realise the balance between my mum and my sister no longer being my immediate family to my husband being my immediate family.
Hard,
and it's so difficult. It's so difficult, and we're still working that out, to be honest, because that's 30 years of my life, you know. It doesn't mean they're no longer my family, do you know what I mean? But
the priority shifts, isn't it? You're like, oh, okay, now you're my priority.
Because also you're living together as well, so what they would have got the immediate sense of like, oh, this happened like quickly. Now my husband gets it because we're literally in the same space, you know, and that's been the most shocking thing as well.
Rianne?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that's shocking. I feel like everything about myself. I think I knew, but I didn't know to the extreme. Like I didn't know that I was like, for example, as sensitive as I am. You know, like I feel like sometimes some things like, I don't know, like I find it very hard to like, because you have to forgive and get over it, and you don't really have much time, which is, it's good because it's like you have to resolve things quickly, but then sometimes it's like you also really do need to thoroughly deal with something so that it doesn't bottle up. So having that balance between like, okay, I actually have to deal with this and conversate about this to actually get it out, but also not letting it ruminate. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a real balancing act, and I think that I realised I'm quite sensitive, and I think my love languages has changed actually, like, which I didn't realise it would, but I think, for example, like before we got married, I was very much acts of service, and I still feel like I'm massively acts of service, because like even like last night, the night before, my husband made dinner, and it's very specific, but I only eat 10% fat beef mince, like very specific. I don't know why, I can't eat 5%, I can't eat 20%, it has to be 10%. And like I used to always say that to him, and he used to be like, I still want to eat, babe. But then randomly I came home from my fitness class and he'd cooked it, and he'd already gone out, and he'd made like spaghetti bolognese, and I was like, oh no, I hope this is the right mince. So I was like, I went into the bin to check.
I knew you would.
But it was the right one, and you know what made it more special is that he didn't have it at the first shop he went to, so he had to walk and go to another shop to get the right mince. And that nearly made me cry. This is so cute. But it's so funny because like, I'd definitely say like acts of service is a big thing to me, because things like that do really mean a lot. But the thing that has surprised me is how much his words like really matter, like good and bad. Like I didn't realise I'd be so sensitive to like negative things, but also like how sensitive I am to the positive things, and how much I would kind of like want constant reassurance, because he's never given me any reason not to be assured. And like I said, the reason why I married him was because of how safe I felt. But it's weird, it's like you kind of still need that even when you're married, like you need them to continuously say, oh, I find you beautiful, or I find so that has like been shocking to me, because I kind of didn't expect that, because I've never been that person in relationships even before him. Like I've never really needed a guy to tell me I look nice. I know I look nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never needed that. So it was like weird to me that like in marriage suddenly I've got this need for my husband to tell me I'm attractive. I don't know why. Yeah, when he says things, it really means a lot to me, and that has probably surprised me because I've never been that kind of person. But
That's how would you say, I'm being married, and I think because both of you no longer live at home, you've probably moved to different locations that you're used to. Have you felt that since you've been married, your friendships have changed with certain people? And how's that?
That's interesting.
Been like?
That's a good question. You know, I don't think it's the marriage that has changed friendships. I think it's coming out of wedding planning season that has changed friendships. Because I think during the wedding planning season, you're speaking to your friends more. Like you're the bridesmaids. More than ever. Like this person, like, oh guys, I'm feeling really stressed about this. Can you pray about this? Or like everything is just more fast paced, and so you need more from your friends, I think, and you need more communication. Whereas like once the wedding happens and you're in married life, it just all goes a bit quiet because you're not stressed about anything, you're not planning, so you have to make conscious choices on like speaking to your friends properly. Because for me, my wedding planning season was a year. So that was a year of like being on like 100% speaking to my friends all the time, like, okay, should we like this dress, like, what do you think about these dresses, what do you think about the food, what do you think about this, and you're talking about whether it's not the wedding, then you're talking about their life or this. There's always a reason for you to be talking, whereas now it's like everything is just much quieter. And so I think that's changed the dynamic a bit.
And you feel like your friends still sort of understand that you're married. You don't feel like anything's changed in them.
No, not in terms of like the dynamic of our friendship, but just more of like the how often we speak.
That's good.
And so we started doing, I'm sure you guys have heard of it, this Wednesday walk. So a lot of my friendship groups have started doing this thing. That's like, and it's a lot of my bridesmaids in their different groups have been doing it because otherwise we just exactly. That's it.
What about you, Rianne?
I feel like it has changed, but not because I'm married, but more because like I'm just tired these days. I'm just by the time I've cleaned my house or cooked, I'm just like, I don't want to go out, guys. But I think I have massively changed because of my partner. I feel like just because I feel more myself, it's so weird. People think it's because of him, but it's actually not really related to him because he still goes out a lot. Like he goes out most of the time, whereas I'm at home without him, and I really like that because I really like my at-home silent time. And so I think for me, because I now don't live alone, if that makes sense, and I don't have that time in the evening where I'm on my own anymore, when he is out, I would rather be at home than be out, if that makes sense. So I feel like I've maybe now had to spread out seeing my friends as much, and I prioritize my rest and chilling on my own and having self-care time a lot more. So that means I'm seeing my friends a lot less, and I would say some friends have been absolutely fine with that. I think no one's been like negative about it, but obviously some people are like, oh yeah, I haven't seen you in ages, and obviously some people do think it's because I've got married, but in reality I'm like, I think I just want to live a bit more of a slower paced life, if that makes sense. So
and that's okay, you know.
And during whether this was during the wedding planning season or even in marriage, did you ever feel a sense of loneliness in either one?
Oh yeah, for sure, because I think in wedding planning season and in marriage, because for me, wedding planning season, in my friendship group, I was the only person getting married because my friend got married the year before. So then she was living in a like newlywed life. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like for me, sometimes people are like, I'm gonna go here, and I'm like, well, I've just spent my whole income like on this thing. So like, well, everybody's having a great time. It's not every month that people can be taking me out. You know, like sometimes I just have to, you know, miss out and just do this and then there's something about wedding planning which it just consumes your life.
It does.
So whilst my other friends have other things going on, like my whole life became wedding planning and church and this, but that was just my life, you know.
That's coming out of my mouth.
When I left wedding planning and I got married and everything, I'm like, who am I? Like, what are my interests? What do I like doing? And then now I think it's a bit lonelier because I don't live in London anymore, so I moved out, and I think trying to come to terms with this new phase of life. It's a much slower pace of life, and I wish I was like you, and I wish that was like my like I was getting used to that, but I'm just not used to a slower pace of life at all, and so it's a bit of like a clash almost, but by God's grace, you know, we'll get there. Do you know what I mean?
I definitely did. I have to say the first 2 months of like moving out, that was hard. That was the bit that nobody prepared me for. I would say, in fact, everyone prepares you for the marriage, and everyone prepares you for like the wedding necessarily. Like you kind of know, but like the actual like moving out, I don't remember anyone talking to me about that. They talk about like, you're now joining with your husband, and now this is, you guys have a life, and you talk about what that life looks like, but they don't talk about leaving your family. Mate, that was so hard for me. That was really hard for me, changing my last name, like everything, literally everything about leaving my family was the hardest part and the loneliest part, because I remember we moved to like where my husband lived, his area, and I just remember being in the flat. I just remember looking at these four walls like, how did I get here? Like, I remember literally feeling so like sad, and my house at home is full. Like, I have my mum, my dad, my siblings, my dog. Like, it's a loud house, you know, it's always got people in it. There's always someone home, there's always someone playing music, talking. And then there'd be days when my husband, he leaves before I wake up, so he goes to work really early and then he comes home late. So I would be like not talking to anyone for like, and it would
from home.
Work from home. So it would be 5 days, and I like literally. And sometimes he'd go play football straight after work, so he doesn't come home till later. And sometimes he'll be coming like, had left at like 6, 7, and then was leaving at like, coming home at like 8. And so it would be like 12 hours, and I hadn't spoken to a single person. And I was like, no, this is. And I remember calling my sister, crying like, I'm just so lonely. But you know, luckily now I'm like more in. I'm fine now. I'm perfect. But
I think no one talks about that.
Like no one does,
I agree, it's so lonely, because I also moved to where my husband was, right? Because he's already set up there, and it's just like you've left your community and like what you're about and everybody, and it's like I need to find a new way of being almost, and it's so difficult, you know? Life.
And with going back to like living with your husband, was there any hobbies or any strange kinks of theirs? Like, oh, I didn't know you do this, or yourself, to be honest. Like, or anything like, okay, I didn't know you like this or you do this kind of thing. Whether that's how they clean the house, whether that's the routine, whether that's a hobby that they have that you're like, oh, okay, I didn't know this about you.
I think there's two main things that caught me off. I feel like I know where this is going. The first one is I am in a freeway relationship. Me, my husband, and Arsenal.
Thank you.
We are in a union. Thank you. We are together. We are one. And sometimes it's them two, and then it's me, and sometimes it's me and him. And like, you know, it's
got to make it work.
It's literally we're in a free. It's the three of us. You know, me and that team is it's a thing. So that's been a lot. The YouTube videos, the AFTV, the Arsenal fan TV, all of this. It's a lot. And then the other thing is snoring. I literally, there was no way of me knowing that this man snores like this. And I remember being on this honeymoon, like, what have I done? This is my life. What have I done? I text my sister. It was like 3 a.m. I said, I will never sleep again. I've signed the paper. My life's done. I was like, wait. I literally sat up. I was watching this man like, you didn't tell me about this part. No, so that's been two things that were like, what? Blindsided. But what about you?
That's too funny. Same, man. The Real Madrid.
Oh wow.
Oh my god.
Serious.
I knew he liked football. I knew it. But how much?
You don't think
What? The screams when random person is scoring. All his Twitter feed, just football, YouTube, football. And I'm like, what? Like, what? Why do you have such an investment in these people running after a ball? Like, do you know what I mean? But it's like, you know what was it that Princess Diana said, that there's a third person in my marriage? It's Real Madrid. It's Real Madrid. That is what it is. And it's so funny because I think also what I realised, because I'm very much, as I've said, like very much like, whatever happens, like this is that. And I didn't realise, like, so for instance, like, I'm the kind of person that I don't read instructions. I just feel like, just go with it. Whatever happens. Like, it's a meal, we just pop it in the oven. Do you know? Like, we'll kind of get the feeling of when the pizza will be done. Do you see what I mean? Whereas my husband's like, actually, on this it says this, and we need to put it at this temperature for this amount of minutes for this amount of time. And I'm like, you just put the thing in the oven, and you'll be fine. You know. So I didn't realise just how different our styles were there. But
Cool. Well, guys, and just to round it up, now that you guys are wives and you've gone from your engagement period, your single period, what advice would you give to upcoming brides?
That's good.
Oh gosh,
that's a good question.
That's a very good question. If I had to give one piece of advice, dwell in understanding. You know, it's a biblical thing to say, but it truly is. It works in every scenario. It's like really see the person for their intentions rather than what might have occurred, or everybody, because it's like even when you're wedding planning and it's like, oh, why is my mum acting like this, why is this auntie acting like this, dwell in understanding, you know, think about their context, think about them, and have patience, and especially with your partner, because you're coming, even if you are from the same tribe, like you will have had a very different life, that's journey that's led you to where you are, and just always try and understand them and why they've done it before you react, because I think sometimes even if you feel like, okay, that might not have been the right thing to do, if you have understanding and wisdom, you can approach the situation with a lot of grace, and I think always taking that approach, it ends up in the long run being a benefit to you and your marriage, because that family, you're marrying into them, and if it's not and it's your family, then they're already their family, so you have to live with these people after the fact, you know. So I would say dwell in understanding, and don't lose you. I think I see now how people say it's so easy in marriage to like lose yourself, if also like, but like I recently have started doing a lot of my old passions, like, you know, creating content and going to these fitness classes that I always loved before, because I kind of like you said with wedding planning, it consumes you, and then you realise I stopped doing all the things I loved, and like, what is my life about anymore? But like, keep those things that make you you and ground you, because I feel like a lot of things about your life will change. There's a lot of changes, you know, if you are moving to your husband's church, if you're moving to your husband's area, if you're changing your name, if you're changing your house, there's a lot of changes. So the things that you can like keep, you know, and really nurture those things, like I think that's really important.
That's such good advice. That's really good advice. I think I'd say stand on business. Stand on business. Because there's going to be so many people that are coming at you during the wedding planning season. 100%, this person's going to want you to do it this way. Like, people are ultimately selfish, okay? Like, and they want what they want. And sometimes they forget that it is your wedding. And you repeat that one. Sometimes they forget that it's your wedding. It's not their wedding. It's not your mum's wedding. It's not your sister's wedding, your auntie's wedding, your uncle's wedding. It's yours, you know. And it takes a lot. Like, it takes a lot. Don't get it twisted, but you have to stand on business. Because what I always say to myself is that, so we got married on the 22nd of July. I'd ask myself, is this going to matter on the 23rd of July? Like, what you're asking me to do, like, am I going to care about it on the 23rd of July? And if the answer is no, if I'm going to forget about it and you're going to forget about it, we're not doing it, love. Like, it's fine. So someone's coming up to me saying that you have to do this, like, otherwise, like, it's going to be the end of the world. Whereas, like, the day after, you've forgotten about it. And if I did it, I would have remembered. Do you know what I mean? So stand on business and have people around you that can hold you to account and like strengthen you, because it's really hard, especially when people are swaying you with their emotions and different ways, just to be like, actually, this is what I want and this is how I want it to run. And you there are so many things I look back on and I'm so grateful that I didn't give in. That's good. So that's good.
Well, thank you, ladies. It's been so nice having you both.
Thank you for having us.
For joining us and talking and being honest about your experiences about getting married, being engaged, and just being a wife now. So thank you so much, and see you guys soon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.